Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello, welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm sitting here in my studio with special guest, musician, and The Voice breakout star, Adam Bohanan. Hello.
Hello. How's it going? Hi, hello. How's it going?
Wonderful. This is my second episode of today, so I am warmed up.
Okay.
I'm broken in.
I thought you were going to say pooped.
I am exhausted. I've had enough. No, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I've had 2 coffees and a lemonade, so I am trying to meet you at where you're at level-wise.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where I am.
I don't know where I am either. So
we're going to discover it.
Yeah, right.
Were these like back-to-back coffees, or was this like one in the morning and one a little while ago?
No. 2 of them were back-to-back.
Okay.
And then I walked over from one coffee place to another and then had a lemonade there. So like,
gotcha.
I guess like there's 30 minutes in between them. So
you're doing like a coffee bar pub crawl.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah. Trying to keep the excitement going, keep me upbeat.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so a lot to get into.
Yeah.
You live in Minneapolis.
I do.
But prior to that, you were in New York.
Yes.
You moved to Minneapolis during the pandemic.
Yes.
And you lived all over as a kid.
Yes, I did. Wow, you did your research.
But I've only done this research.
That's all I know about it.
You were on The Voice.
Yes.
I
got eliminated 2 nights ago. Wah, wah, isn't it?
Yeah, play something.
Play some kind of drop. There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about The Voice.
Yeah.
But like in my research, wherein I found out that you went to school in Farmington, England.
Framlingham College in England, yeah.
I mean, I feel like I was in the zone.
Yeah.
I was right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But before that, you lived in Israel.
I did live in Israel for about 6 years. Yeah.
So, I mean, when I was doing that research, I tried to learn as much as I could about The Voice. I know who the judges are. I know you performed with Sting.
Yeah, that was wild.
But that's like all I know. So how are you feeling? I mean, you made it to the final 8, which is a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's a big deal. It starts with I think 100, like a little over 100 people. And that's just the people who made it to, LA. Mm-hmm. And then there's thousands of people who audition. So I feel really good about being in the top 8. Yeah. I wish I made it to the top 5, but
right.
Who doesn't? Yeah. But I feel really good. The one thing I'll say is my sister and my niece came, and my niece just was bawling. She said to my sister, "I need time alone." So she
Wait, how old is this person?
She's 11.
Okay, I was gonna say child, but then I'm like, I don't. She could be.
She's
35.
a child. Yeah. Well, yeah. Right. Exactly. She's 11 years old, and she was like, "I need time." So my sister had to leave her alone.
Oh, she was invested.
She was really invested, and she flew all the way out here. She expected, and I gave a show. I did the whole song and dance for her, but also she was just really upset. So
which specific song were you cut on?
I didn't get, so there's the way that it works is you have two nights. The first night is the first live, and I had basically sung What's Going On, and that's the night that I sang from Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, but I did the Donny Hathaway version, which I'm love. But
I don't know that one. Do you, Tony?
I don't. It's a regular.
It's a live version that came out I want to say 1977,
okay.
And Donny Hathaway had this whole live album, and musicians go nuts for it. I go nuts for it. It's really fun.
I don't think I know Donny Hathaway.
No, I don't think
You don't know Donny Hathaway?
I don't think so.
Ooh,
no.
You're gonna go nuts when you hear this album. He just did so many amazing songs on that album, on that live album.
What's his claim to fame? This live album that we've never heard of?
Well, yes, and also a song for you, Love, Love, Love. He's like a Motown-y sort of.
Okay.
He's not Motown, but he's in that sort of genre.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, I sung that, and that's the same night I sung with Sting. Mm-hmm. And then it was up to everybody to vote for me, and they did not. So then
Is it an audience thing? Text this.
Yeah,
or...
exactly.
Oh, those motherfucker.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no.
We
I
love their passion.
You're already
I love
off.
the audience.
You can talk shit on them now.
Yeah.
No, I
No,
mean,
you got to
like,
go back and film more,
yeah,
right?
I want people to follow me.
Yeah.
But no, I was a little upset, but I wasn't expecting to win the thing. There's so many incredible singers on
Right.
the show, so I wasn't expecting to win. I just wanted to make it to the top 5. But then the next night there was like a Sing for Your Life, this sort of thing, and I sung Pretty Wings by Maxwell, which is one of my favorite songs of all time, and it wasn't my best performance. I'll be honest, it wasn't my best performance, but people seem to have loved it. Like, I'm getting so many comments. He's like, "Oh, great job, good job." I'm like, "Oh," and then I didn't get picked out of the bottom 4 people because they picked 4 people to go on, and then there's 4 people that had to sing for their lives. One guy got picked. We didn't. There's 3 leftover people that didn't.
Yeah,
get picked
and
out.
this is all the audience, like texting. or
all
whatever.
audience. The instant save song was over the course of like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So you had to text in 5 minutes. Like vote.
Right.
So everybody, had a really short amount of time to push their people to vote, and I didn't get it.
Because I saw a video of you and Dan Rand. So someone who has 2 names that rhyme.
Dan Rand.
It was like Adam.Dan Rand. And you guys were
Jan Dan.
Yeah.
I was like, Jan Dan. Oh, I love
Yes.
him so much. I love him so much. He's a really incredible singer.
Actually, I'm wrong. I saw Jan Dan. No, it was you and Kevin. And you were doing like is there a Kevin? Who
Oh,
looks like
yes.
Johnny Depp?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, Johnny Depp. Yeah.
You were doing like some kind of duet. Wait,
It was-
I have to stop and say the fact that I said Dan Rand and it took you that long to say Jan
Dan.
Dan. What the hell?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm not angry at you. I just feel like aren't those
It should be
basic
immediate.
things?
It should be
Yes!
immediate. Yeah.
Like,
And also considering like he's like one of my closest friends on the show, like I should have.
Was.
Yeah. I mean, he still
That's
is.
why though, because
Yeah.
if someone said like, "Oh, what's that podcast? She's a fun gal." It like people who listen to my podcast might not think Allison Rosen is your new best friend because
Right.
they're so locked into the real name.
Right.
I'm gonna
Exactly.
give you that pass.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you very
If
much.
it rhymed, I think they would know.
Mm.
Okay, so anyway, yes, you and Kevin did a thing, but then it was the coaches that chose who gets to stay. It was Reba
Yeah.
who chose who gets to stay and who gets to go. So ultimately, it's so like how sometimes the coaches decide and sometimes the audience.
So up until the live shows, the coaches decide. So
Okay.
So Reba was choosing me the whole way up until the live shows, and then she didn't have a choice, and it was just up to America to vote. So
I think
America didn't
they've
vote for me.
proven that it's a flawed system. All right. So had you auditioned for? So this is season 26 of The Voice.
Yeah.
Had you auditioned before?
I auditioned a long, long time ago. It was one of those big cattle call auditions, and I was really distraught. Like my father had died that week,
Oh, geez.
and I was, planning his funeral, and I was like really upset by it, and I was literally like I was moving on level to level. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, go to the next thing." I was like, "Cool," and as the excitement was like building in me, I was like getting more like sad, and I was walking to like the next spot, like where they were going to videotape me, and that video was going to go to the producers, and that was what they were going to use. And as I was walking, there was a really long. It was in like some sort of stadium or whatever, and it was a really long hall to get from this space to this other room. And I was walking, and must have been walking for like 2 straight minutes. And as I got like halfway there, I just started crying, and I was like, "Oh, I can't!" And like, it's still. I got 2 minutes left of this like really long walk, so it was like 4-minute walk. And I stopped, and I was like, wiped my face, and I walked in there, and I was like trembling because I was like so sad,
emotional.
and I was like, my voice was like warbling, so it wasn't very good, and they were probably thinking, "How did he get here?"
Right.
and so I didn't get through, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not even going to try this anymore." And then later on, I was doing the Voice used to have this open mic in New York, and I went there and I did that. And one of the producers saw me and they were like, "You're great, why don't you come in for an audition? And I did, and I didn't play guitars, which I think was what they were like looking for, but I don't know. But then the pandemic hit. And so like the whole world was up in, whatever. And so I moved to the Twin Cities. I got older and I was like, I need to make this career happen. So I messaged that same producer and I was like, hey, can I get another audition? And they were like, sure. And I sent them some videos. We did like a remote audition and I got through.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
So the open mic, is that in order to find people for the show, or is it just like a voice branded kind of thing?
The open mic was just a voice branded thing. Like some of the old contestants were there, and like one of the old contestants ran it. It was just like it. I don't think it happens anymore because specifically it was at Rockwood Music Hall, which is now closed, which is very sad because all the like up and coming musicians in New York were like playing at Rockwood Music Hall, but now it's closed. Which, that's a big mess. I don't know if y'all know anything about Rockwood Music Hall, but that's...
Where was it?
It was on Allen Street in, like, New York.
So
like,
Lower
East
East
Side, yeah. It was, like, they did a whole rush to, like, try and save it, and then, like, half of it closed, and then, like, recently the other half closed. It was very sad.
Wait, how was half of it open?
So it's...
Is it 2 clubs?
No, it was actually, like, kind of 4.
Oh.
It started off when I first moved back to New York from, I think I was living in Houston at the time. So it was New York, Israel, England, Houston, New York, right? And
so you lived in New York. Were you born in New York?
I was born in Long Island.
Got it.
Yeah. And so I moved to Houston when I first moved back to the States, and then I moved from Houston back to New York, and that's when I went to Rockwood, and I was like, this is such a cool place. Tried to get a job there, didn't get it.
Like what year was that?
2006, I want to say. Yeah. And then, yeah, I kept going there, seeing live music, and, Nora Jones played there. Emily King played there. Lake Street Dive, they, like, a bunch of their people played there. It's a very, like, there used to be this really cool thing that my friend Aki, who plays keys for Lake Street Dive now, he used to run there, called the After Party. And like all like the working musicians in New York would go there on a Monday starting at like 9:00, and they'd play for like until like 4:00 in the morning. Just like they'd pick a year and they'd play the songs from that year.
Oh, wow.
Of the top 40 of that year. And it was so cool. And yeah, it was really cool. But they started off in one small space, which they called Stage 1. And then they bought out the next room, which was Stage 2. It was a bigger space. And then they bought out the back area. And that was like the downstairs was Stage 3. And there was stage kind of 3.5 or whatever. And then the pandemic hit. And then like they gradually closed all the stages. Yeah. And now then it just like up until recently, it was just Stage 1. And then Stage 1 just closed. Like,
could multiple shows be going on at the same time?
Oh yeah, multiple shows were going on every day. Yeah,
but at the same time.
At the same time,
I would just think acoustically that'd be
they
gnarly.
Like it's so silent. Like the doors. It was anybody who's been to Rockwood. Trying to open that door is like trying to like unseal a vault. It's
right.
The doors are. It's really really quiet. And the spaces are like really separated very well. I mean, honestly, it was one of my favorite places to play. But like not just because of, I mean, it's only a 250 person venue, but like it was so like everybody there, which is like really into the music. And yeah,
so I lived in New York then, and I worked time out in New York. And I went to shows a lot, but I'm trying to think if I ever went. I must have. You know who was like, I remember another music writer was all about, and I think kind of made her career for a while. Do you remember Nellie McKay? Or Nellie McKay? You didn't know that name? Okay, she was a singer-songwriter, and the rumor was that she was Fiona Apple's sister, but she wasn't Fiona Apple's sister. Fiona Apple has a sister who does like cabaret style. No, not is it cabaret? Maybe cabaret. Her name's like something
Nellie Apple.
Yes. No, it's not Apple. It's Margit or something. It's like Maud. Look up Maud Margit.
Maud Margit.
Yeah, there
exactly
we go.
Right.
Wow,
yeah,
nice. That's a good pull, right? Yeah.
Thank you. It comes in handy a lot. Okay, so anyway, So
sorry, actually, Maggart.
Ooh.
Maggart. That's right, because her dad was Brandon Maggart.
Yeah, and it looks like Fiona Apple. That's actually her last name also.
Yep.
Apple's
Fiona-
her middle name.
That's right. Fiona Apple Maggart. Okay, so you got in touch with this producer, you sent videos and stuff, and you got in. When you got to what level did you start?
What do you mean?
Like, you got in, were you cast on the season, or like he said, yes, come to this catalog? Since I haven't seen the show from the beginning, I don't
Sure.
know. Does it start with like, look at this line of people all here to try out?
Yeah, no. So the way that it works is, especially when you do remote auditions, they pick from all the people that auditioned. That's already preset. They'll
Okay.
have little interviews with everybody prior, and
So
then
when
they'll
it
send everybody.
starts-
Yeah, they'll send everybody out to LA to like do the blind auditions, which is like where the coaches press their buttons to
Okay.
have you.
And at that point, how many are there?
Like 100 and something.
Okay, that's what you're
Yeah.
saying. So
Yeah, right.
so that's where you started
Yeah.
at that point. And then from there you made it to where do they go from the 120?
So the 100 and something goes down to like it went down to like 56, I want to say.
Okay.
And that was my math is going to be real bad on this. So it's 16 people per coach, which is 56. Is that right? No, that's not right. We're all like sitting here trying to do
Yeah.
math.
I don't think it's going to happen for us. I get what you're saying though.
No. Wait. 20 6 times 4 is
24.
24. So it's 54. No,
8.
6. Wait, what? Okay. 14 people per coach. It was
Oh, I was gonna say
14
48.
people. 14 people per coach.
Okay.
And then it broke. Then like we did the battles, which is what you saw with KG. And I'm still laughing at trying to do math.
I'm embarrassed at trying to do math.
And you know what? I'm normally really good at math, but I don't know. So we did the battles, and then it got split in two, basically. And then we did what's called the knockouts.
Yeah, what is that?
So there's like, in this case, there were like 3 people in each group, and they got cut down to one person. And so like each coach had 9 people at this point, and they got split into 3 because there's all these like saves and steals and stuff. So so they had 9 people at this point, and they got split into 3 groups of 3. And so at the end of it, 6 people were chosen. And there was a couple of saves and steals and whatever, and
Is
it all broke.
steal where one coach steals another person?
Exactly.
Oh, so
like,
you could have like gotten stolen from Reba.
But Reba kept choosing me. That's what I'm really proud of that, actually. Like, people are always like saying like, oh, you didn't get 4 chairs, or like, like you didn't get the opportunity to like coach to fight over you. I'm like, yeah, that's because my coach just kept choosing me all the time. So
So how much did Reba work with you?
it was a good amount. Like we got pretty close.
Reba McEntire.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering.
Thank you so much.
In case you didn't know. Yeah. It was a good amount. We got to like really like get into a lot of stuff, which was really fun. And yeah, it's less than you think, but more than you expect, I would say. So like, it's like not nothing.
I want that to be the slogan of this show. Less than you think, but more than you expect. Oh, I see. Let me
like,
see if
you when you're watching the show, you think like we're best friends, we're hanging out every night. We're not. But like it's
not nothing.
It's not nothing. Yeah, we got like if I was like walking down the street and Reba saw me, she wouldn't be like, "Oh, who's that guy?"
Right.
Or she'd be like, "Oh, Adam, let's hang out," or whatever. You know.
Every time she works with you, is that filmed?
Yes, but it's also condensed down to like, because like we spend like an hour and a half together or something, and then that's condensed down to like 2 minutes or something.
So what kind of things did she teach you?
Honestly, she taught me. I've been a musician for a little over 10 years, and working full-time musician for over 10 years, and she, like, what I am most comfortable with is playing with a full band and like not being like the person who shines.
On the Sun.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Doing your research again. Yes. On the Sun. We toured all over. We did a lot of stuff. And I felt when I was with that band, I was very you know, we were like, I wasn't the star of the show. The band, it was an ensemble
Right.
piece.
Like greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly. And she taught me to stand out, basically. She taught me to be more
disrespectful to your bandmates.
no, yes. No,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, she taught me
take
to
up
like
space.
yeah, take up more space and like be more present. I feel very comfortable singing. When I sing, I'm normally in my shell. I like to sing to myself. And she was like, just open up and spread out and like and
That's interesting.
and like Jennifer Hudson said the same thing and Lainey Wilson said the same thing, and you know, like and Michael Bublé and Snoop and Gwen, they were all just like, open your eyes, you know?
Is that how you came into it, singing, like kind of more like eyes closed, crooning?
No, so when I first started thinking about being a musician again, like I thought about it when I was a kid, and then I stopped for a little while, and then I decided to get back into it. And when I first decided to get back into it was in New York, and I started like playing open mics. And so, you know, you're playing these like quiet little like dimly lit rooms, and you're singing to your guitar, you know, Bob Dylan style. So nobody else, you're supposed to like drown everything else out, because like if you get in your head when you're doing an open mic, you can hear like every little detail, and you're going to mess up this song that you worked really hard on all week. And you don't want to do that in front of all your peers. Right. So that's how I started performing. But then I started working in like wedding bands, and what they loved about my performances in wedding bands is I got really into the music. I really felt it, and that's why I like I got hired by my first wedding band. They were like, "Oh, you like." I sang "All of Me" by John Legend, and they were like, "Oh my God, you love this song!" I'm like, "No, I'm just singing." And it's like, "Oh, you get really into the music." I was like, "Yeah," and so that because they loved that, it kind of perpetuated this like snowballed this thing where I just like would sing and really get into the music, and I wasn't as show offy because I was in
Like,
my own thing.
Are you talking about connecting with the audience, playing to the audience?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say you were blocking the audience out?
Kind of, yeah. I was, I felt like, you know, my voice was what I needed to show off. My presence
Not your
on stage was not
right.
exactly, was not as important as like,
Interesting.
you need to hear
Yeah.
the product that I thought I was selling was just the voice.
And now what do you think you're selling?
Oh my God, I'm selling a brand. I have
Brand
it's a
vertical.
whole brand. It's not just and like you know what's great, what's wild about this is I didn't just learn from the coaches, I learned from the other contestants, because everyone going in there was like, they had their brand. They knew what they were presenting. And I was just like, I'm presenting my voice. That's my brand, right? And they're like, no, everyone here has a voice. You need to have your own thing. And
That's so interesting.
and that's what I learned. I think I learned that too late. That was one of the reasons why.
On the show, you mean?
On the show. One of the reasons why I think I got eliminated too early is too early. Like, I committed to that means like one more episode.
Right.
But I think I got eliminated earlier because I didn't build my brand. You know, I'm a big nerd. I'm black. I'm Jewish. You know, like there's so many things I could have like put out there in the world, and I did a little bit, but I didn't really like push it. Yeah.
Give me an example of someone who came in with a brand and like what their brand was.
Okay. I mean, I like literally everyone, but you look at somebody like KDO or like Christina, and they're like country people, but they are very clearly themselves. Like they are like, you look at KDO, who is this young, I think she's 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
She is basically the second coming of Lainey Wilson, who is just like huge country artists right now, who was one of the mega mentors for the show. And she's just like, she's got this big smile on her face 24/7. Like you there's no way you could walk into a room and she won't be smiling. I saw her almost not smile one time, and I was like, what is happening? You know? And like,
What was happening?
nothing. She was just like in between smiles. She was just like about to blink or something. You know? And you look at somebody like, Christina Eagle, who was in the top 8 with me, and now is no longer in the top 8, or not in the top 5.
Right.
she came in here knowing exactly what she wanted to be. Like, she is a country artist. She's a powerful person on stage. And there's like, you know, she had her brand. And as I said, like every single person up there had their brand.
Right.
I
didn't.
Well, the other thing is I'm a wedding singer for 10 years, for like a long time. And so I have to sing a bunch of different styles of music. And so my brand wasn't specific. I could do anything, but the thing with being able to do anything is they're looking for you to be in a box, and I wasn't in a box.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's what it is.
I have had this is something that I've dealt with in my own life. When I was a journalist, I was always like, I can write about anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's fine, but if you're the person that covers real estate, then you'll get more, you know?
Yeah.
But I never wanted to limit myself in that way.
Yeah.
And then as a podcaster, and I've talked about this with Jesse Thorne, who has some podcasts too. Like, we both are sort of, it's general, it's open. It's from a time when podcasts were much more like that versus now. I think if you have your narrow niche, that can help more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I understand not wanting to limit yourself.
Yeah.
Or to be limited.
Well, I actually called what I do Dirty Soul. Because,
that's good. That's branding.
It is branding. But the problem with it is that I put a bunch of different things under this umbrella of Dirty Soul. It's kind of like a Dirty Soul is sort of the bed or like the rug, and I'm just like sweeping everything under there.
I see. Yeah. You're like, and now here's a Dirty Soul take on Broadway.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's Dirty Soul though. It's Dirty Soul.
Yeah.
Like literally exactly that. I did the Marvin Gaye song, and I did it in a soulful way, but like people expect me to do what I did to begin with, which was the Marc Broussard song, which was Home. It's like gravelly, New Orleans-y sort of stuff. And then so that would push me more to like the Ray LaMontagne stuff or what I did, Black Pumas, Colors. I did that too. And that's all great. But when I got to the lives, I did the Marvin Gaye, and they were like, where did this come from?
Right.
You know? Right. And that's really what I put under that umbrella. But people don't see the full picture of what I'm trying to like sell. Yeah.
Have you ever watched Next Food Network Star?
No.
Do you know this show, Tony?
No.
So I don't know if they still do this, but I used to watch it on, and I don't watch a ton of Food Network, but for some reason I loved this show. It was where they would, you know what? I think Guy Fieri came out of Next Food Network Star. Yeah. So it was where they would find the Next Food Network star. And they would work with some of the Food Network talent. And their whole thing was always emphasizing to these chefs, what's your point of view? That's what they would say is brand. Like, what's your point of view? What's your point of view? What's your point of view?
What are you bringing to this?
Yeah. And it was, it was always like home cooking with a twist or like, and they had their stories that you would hear so often of like, well, in my house, my aunt taught me,
Yeah.
But I think that's the first time I became so acquainted with this notion of how important point of view is.
Yeah.
But also like I think I would almost still have trouble articulating in this context, like, what does point of view mean? It's really, what is the label? How can we describe you?
Yeah. Yeah. They want to be able to sell you. They want to be able to put you in a box and package you and sell it and give it to people
and distill it down to something.
Exactly. And it's really rough, especially when you're a musician. Tony will tell you, like, like you want to do everything and you don't want to be confined to a box because because being part of music and doing music is just exploring every facet of yourself. And sometimes, like, when I first went on the show, like, people were making jokes because I'm, like, a big nerd, right? I'm all into Star Trek and Star Wars and all that. And they were like, what is he talking about? Like, why? Like, and I have, like, I've been working on, like, the Star Trek R&B album. And they're like, what?
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Right. But, like, that's a different facet of me, and like I don't want to be restricted by you trying to sell me as like this dirty soul thing, which I am. I can do that. That's where I sit comfortably. But also I do like R&B. I do like
what is this Star Trek R&B album?
So I just I'm writing it with as if you're living in the Star Trek universe. So it's not like about like specific episodes, but it's more about like just like if I was a singer, if I was an R&B artist playing a song on like the Enterprise, this would be one of the songs that I would sing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I've written I think 6 so far, which I am very, very proud of, and I wanna do 8, and then I'm gonna release it sometime next year. Yeah.
Does it have a title yet?
It doesn't have a title. Unfortunately, the problem is there are a lot of R&B. There are a lot, not R&B, but there's a lot of Star Trek bands out there, and so
I did not know that.
there are, surprisingly, I didn't know that much either. But like, there are a lot of Star Trek bands out there, and I wanted to like start a band and call it 10 Forward, but there are like 5 10 Forwards, and so I just like trying to like come up with like a sort of sweet, sort of like R&B-ish take on this, because there's not that much Star Trek R&B. In fact, I don't think there's any. There's not because well, as I said, I'm like Black, you know, so I'm trying to bring that into like make more people of color feel comfortable within the Star Trek space.
Is the Star Trek space not inclusive?
Oh no, it is very inclusive, but the music isn't there,
right?
You know, as far as musically, it's not inclusive. It's just not like
a ton of representation.
There's not a lot of representation. Exactly. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so I don't know a ton about Star Trek, but I do know there's the original Star Trek, and then there's the new generation.
Next generation.
Yep. And is there another iteration too, or is it just those two?
There are like 10.
Okay, there's many iterations.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all that?
How do I feel?
Like, are you...
You're going to get some hate mail. I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
Because you know, everybody loves the original series, and there's a new version of the original series. Not really a version of the original, kind of like a spin-off, which is Strange New Worlds, which is newer, which is happening right now.
Where does that air?
That airs on Paramount.
I did not know.
Yeah, it's great. It's really, that one is like really good.
Is it redoing those ones? Or
No, it's not redoing. It's kind of like telling like a different. It's almost a prequel, because it's Commander Pike, who was before Kirk.
Okay.
And it's telling like his story, but it's like an ensemble cast, but it's like still.
It's like the Wicked of Star Trek.
Kind of, yeah. Exactly. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then, oh, right, yeah, okay.
Before Wizard of Oz, yeah.
Right, and then yeah, so there's that, and then there's Next Generation, which happens, I want to say 100 years later, and there's a few spinoffs of Next Generation, which are DS9, which is like a starbase. A lot of like intellectuals really like that one.
Where did that air?
That aired. Oh my goodness! I wasn't in the country at the time when that aired. I was in England.
Like it aired in America.
It aired wherever.
Sure, television.
Right,
internet.
Television was right
on screens.
Now you can find it on Paramount. All Star Trek is available on Paramount.
Know this.
Yeah. And my favorite, which is why you're going to get hate mail, is because it's not a lot of people's favorite. But my favorite is Voyager, which was starring Catherine Mulgrew.
I do like her from Orange is the New Black.
I was just going to say from Orange is the New Black. Yeah, and I loved that. It was like everything I wanted out of a Star Trek, because it's more exploratory, because like they get sent to what's called I'm getting so nerdy right now.
It's okay. I'm here for it.
They get sent into the Delta Quadrant, which is like they're from the Alpha Quadrant. They get sent into the Delta Quadrant, and they have to make their way home. And so for me, that was like, you know, they're actually exploring, whereas the Alpha Quadrant, they already know everything that's happening around there, so they're not really exploring anymore. So I really, really like that one. There's also Enterprise, which was kind of a prequel to all of this, which is kind of like it starred Scott Bakula. It was, you know, I didn't love it. Nobody really loved it. And then there is a prequel to all that, which were one of the movies, and lots of movies. You know, there are so many different iterations. But yeah, my favorite is Voyager.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who else was in Voyager?
Okay. As far as people you would know, no one you would know. I mean, like, I know some of the people, like Tim Russ, who played Tuvok, is like, he's in a bunch of stuff now, but like, it's people you probably would have never heard of.
What was Will Wheaton in?
Will Wheaton was in The Next Generation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tony, are you into all this?
Not really. I'm much more of a Star Wars guy.
See, I argue that you don't need to be one or the other. You can be both.
Oh no, and I've tried. I've never. I don't.
Tony would
hate
argue
Star
that you
Trek,
do have to
but-
work.
I just. I think. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't quite get me. I did like and I think most Star Trek fans, I think, will hate me for this, but I enjoyed the newer like the first two movies.
Oh, yeah,
the new that came out in like 2009. I liked those.
The
'cause those
Chris
kind of,
Pine ones.
yeah, those kind of felt more Star Warsy though to me. So,
They do kind of feel very Star Warsy. Yeah,
I think that's why I enjoyed them a little more.
Yeah, I think well they were trying to sell it to a more like a broader audience. I think is why they
Dummies like me. Yeah.
I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that.
How would you characterize Star Wars fans versus Star Trek fans, like stereotypically? Because the reason I'm asking that is because Adam just said they were trying to make it more Star Warsy. So like, wait, you know what? I'm changing my question. Scratch that question. I don't even know where that came from. That was it was like my mouth said one thing and my mouth betrayed my brain. My question is, when you say like Star Warsy versus Star Trekky, content-wise, like what does that mean?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yeah, because you take this.
Yeah, so I feel like Star Wars is much more shoot 'em up, like space cowboy sort of thing.
Okay.
Whereas Star Trek is much more cerebral.
Shots fired.
I know. Don't. I love them both.
Do you know what that means, Tony?
No, I love them both. I love them both. Actually, I want to say equally, but I love Star Trek more. But like, I love them both almost equally. But I would say that there's a lot of thought. There's a lot more thought that goes into Star Trek versus Star Wars because Star Wars is
big action movie.
Yeah, big action movies, kind of like a space opera versus like Star Trek is like a it's methodical. They actually have
a meditation on.
Well, they
existence.
have like kind of facts that are based in like pseudoscience, whereas like Star Wars is just like midichlorians. They are in everything.
Yeah.
We're like, okay.
Tony, do you take issue with any of what?
Oh,
was
not
said?
at all. As much as I love Star Wars and always have, I'll be the first to admit that it's stupid.
Not at all what I said. Not at all what I said.
Well,
do
that's what I'm saying.
not come for me in the comments. That's
I'm
not what I
saying-
said.
I'm
You
dumbing
didn't
it
say
down.
it's stupid. You just said it's not cerebral. Don't get it twisted. I just noticed, Tony, you have shaved much of your beard. Did this happen a long time ago?
No, because then it would have grown in more.
Did this happen since the last time I've seen you?
Yes.
Or- oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And a haircut.
And a haircut. Look
It was
at
getting
you.
out of control.
2
That's right.
bits.
Okay, so you're a big nerd,
Yeah.
Black and Jewish.
Yeah.
What was that like? And is that like?
It ended recently. No.
Oh, which one did you get rid of?
Oh, ugh.
Yeah, again, I asked that.
No, I grew up. When I was 4, my mom took us to Israel, and there I kind of fit in because I'm like lighter skinned black, and a lot of everybody's tanned out there because it's the desert. And so I kind of fit in. I didn't realize I was any different to anybody else. And we were raised Jewish, so I was just like normal or whatever. And then I moved to England, where they are not as dark mostly. And I went to Jewish school in England, and it was a shocking revelation how different I am from a lot of people. Especially like coming from the desert and being like tanned and dark. I learned pretty quickly that there are prejudices towards black people. And
Had you learned that in England, or you were?
I learned
aware of
I learned that
before?
in England. Yeah, because Israel, I was seen as
fit in, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of fit in. Yeah. But in England I was very different. And so I learn to like find my people, and find what I was comfortable with. My mom was I want to say an old Jewish lady, but she wasn't then. She's now. She taught us pretty well.
Why did you point at me? Just kidding.
Because a Jewish lady. I'm not saying you're an old Jewish lady.
I think you did. I'm just kidding.
No, but she kind of brought us up to be afraid of the police. So that was like, but not because because we were black. I don't know if she was like.
When you say we,
me and my brother and my sister.
Okay.
Maybe because we were black, but maybe not. She used to say it just because like, oh, this is getting into real things. Well, she kind of we lived with a foster family for a while, and then she kind of like kidnapped us from the foster family.
Your mom did?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know this
is your brand. Come on.
I couldn't sell this on television because I'd have to get rights from her to like talk about specific things. But yeah, no, she kidnapped us from our foster family in Israel and took us to England. But so she would always like tell us to hide whenever we saw police. She's like, whenever any police were driving by, she's like, hide. And we'd always like get under. And I always thought as a kid it was like something fun that she was doing. And then now as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's probably, she's having us, is either because we're black or maybe because we're, like.
She's on the run.
She's on the run, exactly. There was one time where we were in Israel and she took a wrong turn. We were in Jerusalem or something, and she took a wrong turn and she went into Jordan. And she's like, oh no, we have to get back into Israel. And
is there any sign that's like, you are now leaving Israel, or like, welcome?
I'm sure there are. My mom's not as observant as you'd hope. But yeah, she took a wrong turn. She went into Jordan. Then she was like, oh no, let's get back out of Jordan. And we were driving, and it was really terrifying for everyone. And then this, she's an old Jewish lady, young at the time, probably, probably my age. I'm like calling her old.
No, I understand.
But yeah, so we're driving back into Israel, and it's really, really scary for everyone. And this was around the time of the Gulf War. She's going to age myself, but and then so she got stopped, and
on the way back in,
and she's like, and they're like, let me see your passport, and she shows a passport and says it's an Israeli passport, and so like people in Jordan don't accept Israeli people, and so. Like they pulled their guns out, and then they looked in the back, and it was me, my brother, and my sister, like super dark, and they're like, "Oh, gone." And so like that's like what it was like. We had big afros too, like little kids, and yeah, and then coming to England was weird. Also, like I was living on a farm in Israel, and I didn't know anything about, okay, I'm just gonna say it, I didn't know anything about deodorant at the time. And so like going to like British school and like going into school, and like I was like, my last name is Bohanan, which obviously starts with a B-O.
I'm like, where is this going? Starts with a bow.
Yeah. And so I got a lot of that in school, and which is fine. I grew up.
How old were you?
Oh, when we moved to England, I was 10.
Okay.
And so I learned over different going to different schools that I need to like
use deodorant.
Yeah, you do use deodorant and just like be more proper. Especially I ended up going to like what my wife likes to call Hogwarts. Went to private school, boarding school, and we all
in
had
England.
To, like, in England, yeah.
That's intense, isn't it? I always I think of English boarding school as just ripping kids away from their families.
It was fun. It was really, really fun. I went to 2 different boarding schools. One was a Jewish boarding school, and then one was like a Christian boarding school. And they were both like really fun. They were like, I liked to get away from the city because they were mostly in the countryside. And, we had like house games. It's when I say it's like Harry Potter, it literally is like Harry Potter was based on like a boarding school, and that's very much what it's like.
Okay, that does sound fun then.
It's fun. It's really fun. We had like singing competitions. We had like, like every time I talk about it, my wife's like, that's from Harry Potter. That's from Harry Potter. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, this is just a life that I lived. Yeah. So it is actually fun. And I can tell you which house is Slytherin, but some of the people that went to my school will probably listen to this and be like, no, we're not Slytherin. But
Which one is it?
It's Garrett House. Garrett House was Slytherin.
Okay.
I was in like the Ravenclaw house, although I wanted to be in like the I was in which was Kerrison, and I wanted to be in the Gryffindor house because all my friends were in Gryffindor, which is
What now? Okay, Slytherin is they're mean. Hufflepuff, they're soft and squishy.
yeah. If I was to choose now, I would totally be a Hufflepuff. Yeah.
Which is now what are the characteristics of Gryffindor versus Ravenclaw?
So Gryffindor, they're like honorable and like,
okay.
they're like whatever, they're the leaders, they're whatever. And then Ravenclaw are very like smart and
Cerebral. It means
I
smart.
almost said that. I was like, no, I've already used that word. I'm not going to use it again. But yes, they're very like, they're exactly. They're very like thoughtful and quiet and cerebral. And that's why I kind of didn't fit in with my house. And I was more into the Ravenclaw, the Gryffindor people, which, I'm using all these names, but they're not obviously not the names of the houses.
Right.
But
so how do they
relate?
How do they choose where they put you?
I don't know, especially because like my best friend at the time and I decided to go to the school together, and he was put into what was essentially the Gryffindor, and I was put into the Ravenclaw, and I was like, why are we separated?
Yeah.
Why are we not in the like? But I have no idea. Like a lot of the kids that went to that school went to the previous school, like the younger version of that school.
What is the name of the school?
It's called Framlingham College.
Oh, right. You said this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to understand the foster family kidnapping situation.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Going back to the foster family. Okay. So, my mom, through some circumstances, lost custody of us. And so, we moved in with this foster family. And
This was in Israel?
in Israel. Yeah.
She had custody when you went to Israel.
Yes. And then she lost it over a situation.
Okay.
And then we moved in with this foster family, which I won't talk about because they weren't very nice.
All right.
But
Did they have kids?
they had some kids as well.
So there's a whole mess of you.
Yeah, there was.
boarding.
I think there were like including me, my brother, and my sister. There were 9 of us,
Wow.
or maybe 7, something like that. Yeah, some of them like grew out of the
Wait, why do you not want to talk about them? Because they weren't nice.
because they might sue me
Is
for
it a legal thing?
defamation
Okay,
or
I
something.
understand.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't want to like. I don't want to like put that out in the world.
Okay.
But yeah, they weren't great. I mean, some of them were, but most of them weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some really great stories from the farm. I have some really amazing stories from the farm. That always end badly. But
Because of these people that you don't want to talk about.
yes.
Gotcha.
But
I mean, I don't have you, but I hear you.
yeah. Yeah, so she lost custody of us. We lived with this foster family. And this foster family was trying to like full on adopt us because we were like being fostered. They were like trying to adopt us.
How long were you with them?
We were with them for like I want to say 3, maybe 4 years. 3 I think I want to say 3 years, yeah.
Was your mom allowed visitation during
Yeah,
that
we
time?
saw her every weekend.
Okay.
But they were trying to adopt us because we were basically free labor for them.
Oh.
We were taking care of all the sheep and whatever. And so they were like, great, we don't have to hire somebody else to do all this stuff. And so we told our mom. We didn't tell our extended family who were like whatever. But we told our mom, and our mom knew that we were struggling there. And so our mom told them that she's going to take us to a weekend trip to Eilat.
A lot?
Eilat is like the southernmost point in Israel, and there's like you can see Egypt from there. It's a really beautiful.
Yeah, come on, Allison.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what got into me.
So she's like, pack all your stuff. We're going to Eilat this weekend. And
Did you know what was going on yet?
I did not. My brother and sister did.
Are you the youngest?
No, I am the middle.
Okay.
But my brother and sister can keep their mouths shut. I cannot. So I didn't know, and I didn't pack any of my favorite toys.
Oh,
and I was
no.
very upset about this. And so
Now this hurts my heart.
right. I had like a Raphael sort of like
Turtles?
figure. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the turtles. And I'm so sad that I still think about this to this day. I was like 10 years old. I still
Yeah.
think I'm 40 now and I'm still thinking about this Raphael. But yeah, so I flew out to we like
But honestly, that's on your brother and sister to not be like, hey, bring this to Elot. You know, they should have been on it.
right. They absolutely should have. But no, like they as a family, they kept me out of a lot of stuff a lot of the time. Not that's a whole other.
Yeah.
Wow, we're really getting into it. But yeah, they kept me a lot of out of a lot of stuff. But yeah, she's like, we're going to Eilat, and we all packed our bags, and obviously Eilat is the southernmost point in Israel, so I'm not packing like warm clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get on a plane and we land in England, which is not warm in any
Right.
way. It was raining and I was wearing shorts. And I was like, wait, this isn't Eilat. Why is it so dark and
Yeah.
wet? And my
Also,
mom
I would
was
assume, like, why was it a longer flight than you were expecting?
well, I didn't know. I was like 10 years old. I was like,
Yeah.
I guess this is how long it takes to get to Eilat. But and then yeah, we landed and we had to buy all new clothes and we were living in England, so that's what happened.
Did your brother and sister pack correctly?
I don't know. I'm sure my brother did. My brother probably thought it was funny that I didn't pack right, but like I'm sure my brother did. I don't know about my sister.
So
She was younger.
at what point does your mom say, we're living here now, you're not going back to that family?
Like
Immediately?
basically immediately, yeah.
And what was your reaction to that?
Positive and negative. Positive because I didn't want to be in that situation anymore, and negative because
You didn't bring Raphael.
I didn't bring Raphael. I literally, I had so many G.I. Joes. You don't even know. Like, I had like the entire collection of G.I. Joes. And like, if I had them now, that'd be millions of dollars.
Yeah. Was that, I was joking though, I was, but I wasn't. Was that what was negative or was there?
No, that literally was what
Okay.
I left all my toys. That was
Yeah.
like my main issue. But no, I was very happy not to be there anymore.
Yeah. Did the family try to come find you or like?
No.
what-
They didn't really
But
want to try and fight that.
did they know? Or I'm just wondering, like at a certain point, was it like, that's weird? They were supposed to be back by today.
I'm sure. I mean, like I've no doubt that they were like, where are they? They were
Yeah.
supposed to be back, and they went out for a pack of cigarettes like 5 minutes. No, I'm sure they did, but there really wasn't anything they could do at that point, which was very nice. Yeah.
And you said that your mom taught you to be afraid of the police. Was that in England? Was she still worried?
It was in England and like a little bit in Israel. I don't know why in Israel she was training us, but maybe because we're black. But in England definitely she was like, hide.
If
Yeah.
she tried to hide you from the police, how did she feel about when you performed with Sting?
Ooh,
Dum-dum.
good.
Hey, yeah, that's a good drop. You know what? She loves Sting, which is one of my. When I spoke to Sting, I was like, my mom is, and no one ever wants to hear this. My mom loves you, but like, I was like, I love your music. I'm so excited. My mom is really gonna freak out so you could see in his eyes, he's like, great. And the second I said mom, he's like, cool. And I'm like 40 years old. My mom is like in her mid 70s. Like, he's like, man, really? Your mom?
The situation that prompted you guys to go into foster care,
Yeah.
is that something that you do or don't talk about?
I'd rather not talk about it just because I don't know that my mom would very much enjoy me talking about that.
Okay. Do you, I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm wondering, do you agree with the decision?
I agree with the decision to go into a foster system.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with the end result.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the family was bad.
Yeah.
But the decision to go into foster care was good. I honestly, if it was a good family, I would have been like, yeah, let's do it.
Good thing they kept you and your brother and sister together.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so England.
Yeah.
And then you went to Houston, from England to Houston?
From England, I did my schooling there. I went to Hogwarts in England. And then I went to Houston after that.
You said that you wanted to do music when you were young, and then you came back to it. What happened in the middle?
Okay, so when I was in school, this really fancy boarding school, they were like, you cannot be a musician. They're like, they want all their kids to be like
wizards,
doctors, and exactly. They want them to be doctors and lawyers and whatever, and most of them turned out to be. Like, my best friend is a solicitor in London, and like a bunch of them are like doctors, whatever. And they want them to go to Cambridge or like Oxford, and I wanted to go to like the London School of Performing Arts or like, you know, Juilliard or something. And at that point, why do you have a music program if that's what your thing is? But like, they have a whole music program. There were literally 5 of us in the A-level music program, which I was like, okay. But yeah, so I decided to keep my options open. I wanted to be a musician. I knew I wanted to be a musician, and but they were telling me, you can't be a musician. It's not going to make you enough money. So you got to pick something else. So I did like 4 A-levels, which was mathematics, which turns out I like math, math, business, psychology, and music. And because I wanted to be a musician, I didn't join the music field until way later, because I was told not to. And so I just became a bartender, and I was bartending. I worked at Dave & Buster's in Houston, Texas. I worked at this restaurant called Papa's Burger, Papa's is a big chain in Texas. And then I went to Dave & Buster's, and I was working there in the restaurant and service industry for a good 10 years before I was like, okay, no, this is not for me. I need to like focus on what I really want to do with my life, which is music. And that's why I started in New York.
Gotcha. And where'd you meet your wife?
In New York.
Who, it should be said, has excellent taste in podcasts.
I think she's also a subscriber too. She's
really?
Yeah, she's a Patreon subscriber.
Wait, what's her name?
Her name is Erin Webker.
Erin, thank you.
Yeah, she's gonna be so excited. I was actually gonna like fake call her, but I'd rather just like, so when we clean our house, we listen to podcasts. And so what I was thinking was, I'll just
that's a good idea. I'm winding
just
up
like,
with
let's
you.
put a podcast on. And she's cool. We'll clean our house. And she'll be like, wait, what? I'm very excited for that.
I did. If she is, she's a subscriber, like a Patreon person?
Yeah.
Or, because I did mention on Patreon that you're coming on the show.
Okay. She
hasn't commented yet, though.
Well, okay. So we'll see. I'm worried about that. But
I might have revealed it.
But she's also very, very busy. She's she works at the Minnesota History Center, but she's also a curator at the Smithsonian. So she's like got so much stuff going on all the time, and she's also dealing with a lot right now. We're trying to figure out her health insurance, and she's like trying to support me all the time. So she probably hasn't listened to a podcast in a while.
Okay, good.
And so we'll see. But I'm very excited to if it makes it that far, it'd be really great. I'd love to just do that when I get home. But maybe she'll probably, because you announced it, maybe she'll probably.
She might. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
No,
so wait, how'd you guys meet?
I was living in New York. My aunt owns a restaurant. It's a Doctor Who restaurant. I'm a big Doctor Who fan as well. I have Doctor Who tattoos. So my aunt owns a Doctor Who restaurant in Beacon, New York, which is a little outside of New York. And so Mount Beacon is the highest point in the Hudson Valley. And so like sometimes I'll hike Mount Beacon. And so I was hiking up Mount Beacon, and halfway up the mountain, there's this tree called the Lover's Tree, and where people like carve their names onto the tree. And I was looking at this tree, and I look around the other end, and we met on Tinder. I'm just messing with you.
I totally fell for it.
See, so I have to tell that story every time, because when we first met, we met on Tinder, and we were infatuated with each other immediately. But so back then, this was so long ago, this is like 10 years ago, meeting on Tinder was not like as cool.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't
No,
like something that
there's a
everybody did.
stigma.
Yeah. So I was telling that story all the time. And then one year we were hiking up Mount Beacon and I had to like run off to use the bathroom or whatever. And I come back and I'm like, look at this awesome walking stick I found. Cause like, you know, we're guys, we like when we get to the top of the mountain, you gotta like find a walking stick. And she's like, look at what I found. And she takes me to this tree. And at the bottom of the tree is a little plank that says the lover's tree. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I didn't realize it was a real thing. And she's like, no, you don't understand. And she pulls out a ring pop and she proposed to me at the top of Mount Beacon.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
It's really sweet. So I have to tell the story every time I tell the story because it's part of the
Right.
Building up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And when was that?
We got married in 2018. So this is probably late 2016 or 2017, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys have been together for a decent amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. We met in January of 2015.
I think it is time to try out a new segment
Ooh.
called This or That. We don't have a song yet, but I think you should come up with one and sing it. So the gist is, it's called This or That, and I just say like, do you like this or that? This, you know, and I give you things. Go for it.
Are you asking me for a drop?
Yeah.
Do you like this or that? Do you like this or that? Do you like this or that?
Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
That's so much better than the one I did this morning.
I'm so sorry. That was bad.
No, that was
really-
amazing. It was amazing. Okay.
I didn't know this. For those
gave
listening,
you
I
no
did not
warning.
know this was coming. Okay.
I know. No warning.
No warning whatsoever.
You know, my guest earlier was like, I didn't know this was coming. It's like, did I need to prep you on the fact that I'm going to say soup or salad?
Very scary.
Wait, I don't understand. No. Okay,
Soup
no.
or salad?
Is that really
Yeah.
the question? Soup or salad? I mean, it really depends on the soup or the salad. But if it's Caesar, I go Caesar every time. If it's like chicken noodle soup, I go chicken noodle soup.
Really?
Yeah.
Such a basic soup. No offense.
No, I mean, like when I say chicken noodle soup, I think like matzo ball soup.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. All right.
Yeah.
Ketchup or mustard?
Ooh, damn! I'm so basic. I have to like. I'm not going to say ketchup. I'm going to say mustard. But like that's because there's mustard's just so more versatile. There's a lot more mustard.
I don't think that's basic, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Reading a book on like a Kindle device or a book?
Oh, book every time. Yeah, you have to smell and feel the book. Yeah.
Audiobook or podcast?
Podcast. I'm saying that because
You said if you were guesting on an audiobook, I'm sure that's the answer. Window or aisle?
ooh, I prefer a window. I just don't like to. But like aisles are so great because you easy access to the bathroom. But
Yeah.
I've never used the bathroom on an airplane, so I'll say window.
Two
The
in a
second
row.
guest who says this. My guest earlier today has never used a porta potty in her life. That's how well she can hold her bladder.
Oh no, I use porta potties.
Yeah.
I feel like any airplane flight has there's only like one if you're going from like New York to England is the only time you need to use the bathroom on an airplane. Like I can hold my pee for like 3 hours. That's not like that big of a deal.
I need to use it like before we take off. I'm that asshole. Okay. Morning or evening?
Evening. Every time.
Being dumped or having to dump someone?
Ooh, being dumped every time. I prefer.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
People are lying.
What?
I said these people are lying. Having to dump someone sucks. It's awful.
Yeah.
But being dumped is no walk in the park.
Yeah, but being dumped, it's out of your control.
Yeah.
Like having to dump somebody, you have to like explain your reasoning, and like I hate having to dump someone.
No, it
like it
sucks.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big crowd or isolation?
A big crowd.
Beach vacation or snow vacation?
Beach every time. I hate the snow. I know I live in Minneapolis, but yeah.
Shower or bath?
Shower.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy. Yeah. I'm a nerd, so comedy.
Cake or pie?
honestly, what cake, what pie? You know, like if we're talking like sweet potato pie, it's sweet potato pie every time. But if we're talking like honestly any other cake, sweet potato pie is the best, and then cake, and then every other pie.
How do you feel about pumpkin pie?
It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's good, but not as good as any cake.
Pumpkin pie has been disappointing me for years now.
Yeah. My wife makes a great pumpkin pie.
I bet she does.
Yeah.
I think the problem is the store-bought pies, maybe.
Yeah.
My feeling is that pumpkin pie is delicious and I love it. Yeah. However, I have been disappointed with it for like the past 7 years, and it's made me wonder, do I misremember it or something?
Yeah.
Like this past year, we got one from Costco, which is supposed to be really good. It was almost inedible.
Yeah.
I feel like they forgot to add sugar and also spices. It was just straight pumpkin flavor.
Ew.
I know. No
I
one
feel
wants
like
that.
pumpkin pie is just basically an edible plate for Cool Whip.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's how I feel about it.
I used to think it was good. I don't know what changed.
I don't think it's bad. That's not make it sound like I think it's worse than it is, but the Cool Whip is the star.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the problem is where you're getting, and I'm gonna be such a freaking whatever. Where you're getting your pumpkins might be part of it. Like
maybe that's what's happening. Maybe like how bananas.
You grow your own pumpkins, right?
Yes, but that's become rare these days. Yeah. Maybe everyone used to have a certain kind of banana. I mean, I'll explain why I said that. Pumpkin, and now we have a different one. So,
is it because bananas went extinct? Is that why you said?
Yes, you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, okay. Like there used to be this kind of banana, which was maybe the Cavendish banana. Yeah. And then now all bananas are this other kind.
Yeah.
Or maybe now we have Cavendish and it used to be different. Yeah.
And the flavoring is the old flavoring, and they're like, this doesn't taste like banana, but it's actually the original banana taste. Yeah.
Yes. And finally, big finish, dog or cat?
Dog.
Okay.
Dog every time. And my wife is going to be upset that I said that publicly, but because
why'd you have a cat?
She wants a cat. We don't have anything right now, but she loves cats, and I've been wanting a dog. I want to either like an Australian Shepherd or a husky or something like that. I just love like dogs, and she wants a cat so bad, so we're gonna have to fight over that. Maybe have both,
Yeah, we'll get both is what I was gonna say. Yeah, I've never really had a cat because I'm allergic. Although not that I'm not so allergic now that I think I couldn't have one. My husband is though. I would like to have a cat. I feel like I'm in my cat era, but I don't think I'm gonna get one because of the Daniel and his allergies. Okay, let's do just me or everyone.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right. Might you have one or many?
I do have two. I have a lot, but like I'm going to say two. One is a very controversial one, and I've written a song about this. I don't know if I should say it, but I'm going to say it. Chocolate peanut butter cups. They're disgusting.
Oh, wow.
They're gross. Is it just me or everyone? I just want to know. I just want to, for everybody listening, we should see the eyes in this room right now. They just went, how dare you?
I literally don't think
inside.
I've ever heard anyone
No,
say
I never have. But I think peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are not good.
I am with you on that.
I love peanut butter and jelly. I think peanut butter and jelly is delicious, but peanut butter and chocolate.
What do you like about it?
I just love the salty and the sweet and the like sort of the jelly like squishiness of the jelly mixed with like the creaminess of the peanut butter. And I think that's like delicious. Yeah.
Must just be a sandwich for nerds.
I will take that. I will wear that badge with pride, sir.
See, I don't find that they complement each other. I do not enjoy them. I do like a peanut butter cup, and I'm not a big peanut butter fan. I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah.
There's like one other one out there.
Yeah. Well, I like chocolate and I like peanut butter, but mix them together and it upsets me. Yeah.
So you don't like them mixed together in anything?
Like in anything at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever met someone else who feels the way you do?
You know, so I have a song called Reese's that I've written. And
Is it just a hate song?
it's a hate song for peanut butter cups. Yeah. And every time I play it, there's one person in the audience just like, yeah, you got it right. And,
Oh, wow.
yeah. One person though.
Right.
And I'll make a joke when I finish playing the song. Like when everybody's like, "Oh, great song, yeah." I was like, "Oh, so you all agree with me?" And then they immediately stop. The whole audience just stops
What
clapping.
kind of lyrics does this song have?
I talk about how Big Chocolate's trying to like convince us that chocolate peanut butter is a real thing. And I talk about like how like my friends all think that I'm crazy for liking this, for like not liking this, and like I keep trying to in the song. It's like it's an R&B song. So in the song, I'm like, it starts really sexy where I'm like, is it just me? It kind of like just me. It's like, oh, do you? I know that you feel the same way, and it's fine. It's okay. You have a friend in me. Chocolate and peanut butter sucks. And then everybody's like, what? I played that down in Texas, and I always started off the same way. And I'm like, hey, so this is going to be very controversial. And I played this like in Texas. I was like, but I have to speak out. I have to speak my truth. And when I start the song, like there's always some guy crossing his arms.
What does he think you're going to sing? A song about abortion or something?
Maybe, right? And I end up singing about that. And then like us, like everybody's shoulders just like loosen. And I'm like, yes, I got you.
Wow. This is really controversial. Like you just said. I don't know about that. How's your wife feel?
Oh, no. She like has to have like chocolate peanut butter cups in the house at all times. And I'm like, and that's great because I gained a lot of weight during the pandemic. I want to say like 70 pounds and basically a whole Allison Rosen I gained during the pandemic. And so like I feel very self-conscious about my weight. And so like having chocolate in the house that I don't want to eat is always a plus for me.
All right. What's your other one?
The other one is whenever I buy anything expensive, and my wife hates this as well, whenever I buy anything expensive, I keep the box forever.
Yes.
Is that everyone? That's got to be everyone. I think
it might be explain why you do it, though.
I do it in case I want to sell it. I never sell it. It never gets sold. But if I do want to sell it, if I want to like sell it back or like whatever, I want the option of having the box because I buy a lot of stuff on Reverb, and whenever you have the box, you can like sell it for way more.
What is Reverb? Is this?
It's a music purchasing site. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why I keep the box. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is a really pretty box.
I know why you kept it, because you also kept an old microwave tray.
You never know when you need another microwave turntable. Yeah, well, I do keep everything. Lately, though, I've been trying to get rid of stuff, and I'll be going through my closet, and I'm like, I'm going to throw this out. And I'm like, but this is a perfectly good shirt that I never wore. I should sell it. So now I have a pile of stuff I'm going to theoretically sell.
And you never do.
My 5-year-old said to me, but you don't even have a store. Like, I'm not on Poshmark or eBay, or I've never sold anything on eBay. I bought stuff. I'm not set up to like sell a shirt from the Limited or something.
For the longest, I would always think of like when I'd have stuff like that, like I should sell this on eBay. And I was like, I don't want to like deal with all that. And then I do it, and it's like, oh, that took like 1 minute.
Yeah.
It's like so easy. And if you just make yourself do it that first time, then you'll go like, oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah. I have a lot of shirts from my previous size. And my wife is like, get rid of them. It's like, no, but
you're going to go back to them.
I say that, but am I, and I curated this beautiful, like bunch of like beautiful shirts that I, curated over years. And I'm like, I want to keep them around for reference for like new shirts. Whenever I buy new shirts, like, do I have that one or like whatever? And then B, I don't want to like it's fine for whoever feels comfortable in their skin, but I never felt that this is the size that I'm supposed to be. So like, I want to go back to that, but will I ever go back to that? I need therapy bad. But yeah, now the show has given us like all the clothes that we wear on the show, we get to take home.
Oh, that's fun.
It's really great. And I packed my bags and I could barely fit everything in there. And my wife was like, you know what this means? And I was like,
she's coming for your shirts.
she's coming for my shirts.
You better find a place to hide them.
I was thinking that too. I was
How
like,
much space are these shirts taking up? You say you've curated. Is this like a humongous amount of shirts?
It's, it's not, we don't have a big apartment. So it's taking up a large amount of space for the space that we have. And like the amount of clothes that I got from the show are going to take up even more space. About the amount they would take up about the amount of space of the shirts that don't fit me anymore.
Oh,
so
perfect in and out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and she's going to be listening.
I have an emotional attachment to these shirts for you, though.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
curated them.
Yes, you tell her right now.
Aaron. He curated a collection, and what if one day he can fit into them again?
Yeah.
Why make him go out and re-curate?
I love this. She'll listen to you. She won't listen to me. She'll listen to you, though.
I mean, I do need to understand how much space we're talking about, though. Here's an idea. I have no idea if these work. On late night, do they still have infomercials? Is there still late night TV?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
I think they're
you
like
guys-
pretty, like very late.
Yeah. Have you seen? It'll be you can like vacuum seal a bag of clothes.
Yeah.
Need that. What if you could you stick all your shirts in a bag and then stick that hose in it and then turn it, and then it's like the size of a raisin box at the end. It's tiny.
I mean, that's
Stick it under your bed.
It's under the bed. There's already a lot of stuff under the bed.
Oh yeah, me too. What stuff do you have under the bed?
We keep our when we wrapping paper and stuff like that, and like extra toy, because we're nerds. We have a lot of
You have toys under your bed?
like Funko Pops, and
Like these ones that you're collecting, but you don't need to have out.
yeah,
or
we don't
something?
we rotate the display or whatever, or like nerdy pictures, or and all that's under the bed. And we every couple of months, or maybe every 6 months or so, we'll rotate which nerdy things are hanging in the wall or
Right.
whatever.
Tony.
And when I say we, I mean Aaron, not me. I'm I want to put everything out.
Yeah. Tony, do you have things under your bed?
Yes, but we actually our bedroom is very small, and we tried to optimize the space. So we have our bed on risers, and then we put drawers under the bed, and that's basically our dresser.
Smart.
Yeah.
Do you need some kind of ladder to get into your bed, or it's just
No, it's not that tall.
Is it a loft bed?
But we do have to pick up Bentley to put him on it, though. He can't jump that high.
Do you remember when everyone had loft beds? I feel like there was a moment where everyone was making their bed a loft bed.
It was very cool. There was
It was a real New York thing too for a while.
for sure. Yeah. I definitely at one point had a loft bed.
You did?
In New York. Yeah.
What'd you have under it? Your desk?
Yeah, desk. Yeah.
All right. Let's now do questions from our fans.
Ooh. Didn't know that was coming.
I know.
When we ask, they send them in. They're wondering how you have been. So thanks so much for answering these questions from our fans.
All right. Ashley Bailey says, is Snoop as freaking awesome as he seems to be?
You know what? The answer is no. He's way more awesome.
I didn't see that coming.
You wouldn't believe how incredible of a person he is. However cool you think he is, he's 10 times cooler.
Wow.
Even if you think he's cool and you think he's the coolest person ever, he's 10 times cooler than that. In real life. Absolutely.
I need to know what each of them is like. What's Gwen like?
Gwen is she holds her cards very close to the vest, but she's so sweet. She's because my wife is also a huge fan of Gwen. She dressed up as her in college or whatever. And she absolutely loves Gwen. And I told Gwen that. She's like, that's so great. I'm so excited. She's very meaning, purposeful with everything she says. And we're moving on to Reba, who's just so, we talked about her earlier. She's the nicest, one of those people that just makes you feel at home all the time. And so loved, really. I was said something about her on the show, and I was really honestly, it's I really, really feel that she had my back the whole time.
Oh,
It was
that's
just really
nice.
incredible. And then Michael is the type of person you want to grab a drink with. Like, honestly, like, he is everyone's best friend. He'll just come to set whenever, like, he's not even supposed to be there and just, like, chat with everybody. He's like, he's everybody's best friend. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm everyone's best friend.
Yeah.
That's my
new best friend.
That's
Hey.
right. Okay. Thank you. That was sent in on Patreon. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen.
Patreon.
I'd like to remind everyone that I am on Patreon. Adam's wife is on Patreon. All the cool people are over there. Join them. You can get bonus episodes of The Friend Zone. That is my Patreon podcast. There's a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. And I text updates every morning, and a lot of fun stuff happens in those updates. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Also, I am on Substack. AllisonRosen.substack.com. Check it out, you guys. I write about a lot of stuff, including I spill the tea about my time on the Adam Carolla show, and that really brings the people in, so much so that I'm like, I will be writing about this for a long time. Okay. It is time to do Podcast Pals product pick. Podcast Pals product picks. All right. What would you like to recommend?
So
You could do two things.
I'm going to do two things.
Yeah.
Thank you. One of them is going to be Tracy Ellis Ross's Pattern for the curly haired gal on the go. I have really curly hair. I'm, being black and Jewish, just like Tracy Ellis Ross. My hair it's up now, but like when I wear it out, it's like super curly. And up until recently, I didn't use the right products in it. And then I just saw, I love Tracy Ellis Ross. I saw that she had a product and I was like, I'm going to try it. And it really works so well for my hair. And I think that, because she's black and Jewish, like it kind of like pushed our our hair textures are very similar. And so it kind of pushed me to go in that direction. And honestly, my sister uses it. I use it. Like my brother, if he had hair, he would use it.
I gotta turn. My sister has. I mean, I have naturally curly hair, but my sister wears her hair curly.
Yeah.
I gotta turn her on to this.
It's great. It's great. And she
is
has
it
like
a gel?
different.
What is it?
It's like a whole hair product
line.
line.
Okay.
Yeah. So like she has like leave-in conditioner, real conditioner, like and different levels of curl as well. This is really, really good. It's really, really fantastic.
All right. How does it smell?
It smells amazing.
I love an amazing smelling product.
It smells incredible in a way that just feels like you went to like the hair salon just to get your hair done. It's so good. It's just incredible. Yeah.
Are you wearing it right now?
I'm not wearing it right now.
Okay.
You're like, let me smell your head.
No, when we took a photo, I noticed that you smelled good.
Oh, this is not my product pick, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have like this cologne that I put on that I got at like we were in like some random place and I fell in love with it. It's like a whiskey cologne that actually has like sandalwood, which
maybe that's what I like the smell of that.
Yeah,
maybe that is what I was smelling. A whiskey cologne.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I think it's like it's like a gel. It's kind of like a gel, sort of, not a gel, but like a sort of like a hard cologne that you just rub on yourself.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And it's made with like Woodford Reserve. Yeah.
Huh. I'm writing this down. Whiskey cologne.
Yeah.
And then your other Podcast Pal product pick?
My Podcast Pal product pick, number 2, is going to be the Dip new record.
I don't even know the Dip.
The Dip is a band based out of Seattle, Washington, I think. And my wife and I just recently saw them and in Minneapolis. They're really incredible. And you might have heard them without even knowing, because like they're at the level where like their music is
on TikTok,
like at Target or something. Like, and you're just like, you're walking down, it's like, oh yeah, cool, this is a cool song. And like in movies, when there's they have syndicated stuff, and just really their new album. Their first couple albums were in a certain era of like sort of like I want to say like a soulful Al Greenish sort of spot, or like early soul. And this new album is like more 70s soul, and the way that they're
funky soul.
They have a lot of funk in there. They have like I think it's like a 10-piece, maybe it's an 8-piece band, but they have like lots of horns, and they're just like they're the modulations that they do are just so flawless when they do like modulations, and they have a new keyboard player. That's really
love
incredible.
a flawless modulation.
Yeah.
You're always saying that.
It's really like incredible stuff. And
Okay, I have to ask, what's a modulation in this sense mean?
well, okay, so they start the song like in their new song, their title track, Love Direction. They start the song in one key.
Oh.
And then it goes, love direction now. And then they're in a new key.
Tony, I have a new segment called Love
Here.
Direction. We're going to use that. I see. So like a key change.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a key change, but like it's a key change within a song that gradually happens and is seamless. Yeah,
Right, as opposed to just like now we're doing it in this key.
right, where you stop key
Right,
change.
right.
This is more like a modulation. It gradually like builds up. Yeah,
That's neat. All right, The Dip.
yeah.
What was the album called?
The Love Direction
Love
is
Direction.
the new Dip's
Do you
new
know
album.
this band?
I'm very vaguely familiar. I had stumbled across a song a couple
What
years
does
ago.
very
when-
vaguely mean?
Because I had something playing on Spotify, and then something else started playing, and I was like, oh, what is this? I kind of like it. And it was them. And I have been meaning to check more of them out, and I totally forgot until right now.
They're so good. Like they have this one song in 3/4 that's just like absolutely beautiful. We don't have to like I can talk about them forever. So, but I will say that my wife and I, when we went to see them, my wife was like, I told her like, let's go see the Dip, and she's like, cool. And she texted her friend, and she was like, we're gonna go see a band that Adam loves. And then we went there, and she's like, why did I say Adam loves this? This is like my favorite band. She loves that band. So, and I'm like absolutely in love with them. We bought a bunch of their merch, and I rarely buy merch. Like the only other time I bought merch was when I went to see Stevie Wonder, and that's only because I'm poor. I support purchasing merch for every person.
Yes, of course.
But I am poor.
What'd you get? Like a hoodie,
from
pajama pants? What kind of dip merch
from the
did you
Dip?
get?
Oh,
Yeah.
we got 3 different shirts and 2 different records, and when I bought, okay, so they're gonna like call me out on this. But when I bought all the stuff, I was like, I'm not even joking. I went up to the person who was running the merch desk, and I was like, hey, so I heard that when you buy 4 things, you get a free tote bag, because my wife really wanted the tote bag. And she was, and the person was like, oh yeah, if you buy 4 records, you get a tote bag. And I made this up in my head.
Oh, wow.
100% made this up. And I was like, they gave me a tote bag because I bought 4 things. And then we walked away, and she was like, my wife was like, where did you hear that? And I was like, I didn't. I had no idea. I just made it up. And she's like, we got free tote bag, which is really great. But I do
good
support
maneuver.
purchasing all the things. I do support it. I love free stuff, though. That is something that
Everyone loves free stuff.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Have you used this before?
No, I literally made it up on the spot. And
No, but I mean, like, have you done stuff like that before when buying stuff?
I'll haggle sometimes. Like if I'm going into like TJ Maxx and something has like I'm buying a trash can and something has a dent, they'll like,
Oh yeah,
I'll haggle. But and I think that's the Israeli in me. Like whenever anybody, worked in Times Square, and when I worked for like TKTS, the ticketing system in there, and people would come to me and be like, oh, you're Israeli, huh? Let me have this. I'm like, oh, okay, no, that's not, I can't do that. But like, I feel
Wait, how did they know you were Israeli?
So one of my job at TKTS was to like talk to people about what was going on and like all the different shows. So I would speak to them in Hebrew when they're Israeli, or like I'd speak to them in Spanish, French, whatever. And so,
wow, you speak all those languages?
I speak enough to be able to like
That's
explain
cool.
things about the shows and whatnot. Yeah. But so they were like, "Oh, you're Israeli. Give us something." And I think I also, worked in a marketplace in Israel and in England, so I'm used to like being
Haggle
in the
culture.
Haggle, exactly. So I'll drop something in there, but not like angrily. I'm never like, give it to me. I'm always like, I heard that this was a thing that you might be able to do.
So, like that. Adam, it was such a treat to have you on the show.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. We should say you reached out because your wife is a fan, and you're like, and I'm in town if you'd happen to want, I forget exactly how you said it. If you want me as a guest, and I'm like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah. Which I love. I love how like just down you were for this. This is so great. And it's going to be an amazing surprise for Erin when she hears me on the show.
Or reads the Patreon post.
I hope she doesn't read the Patreon post before.
I feel like I should just take it down. I could take it down.
No. Actually, yes.
Yeah, I'll just take it down.
Take it down, and then I'll surprise her. I mean, like, well, it'll probably be like, when is this going to go up?
Probably Monday.
Monday, perfect. Then I'll go when we'll go to. We'll start. When I get back, I fly back on like Wednesday, and I'll try and like get her to do a cleaning on like Thursday. I was like, let's clean the house. Let's listen to the podcast, and she's gonna flip. That's gonna be great. Yeah.
I hope I get it down in time. Tell everyone like where they can follow you online or whatever. Plug your things.
Yeah, so you can find me on Adam Bohanan Music on all the socials at Adam Bohanan Music, or you can go to my website adambohananmusic.com. You can also find some of my new stuff that I'm going to be releasing on there, my solo stuff that's going to be releasing on there, and then some of the band stuff that I'm going to be working on next year with On the Sun. Based out of New York, so like I will have some shows coming up as well. So On the Sun music for On the Sun, Adam Bohanan music for Adam Bohanan music stuff, and yeah, just follow me on the. Well, I'm not on The Voice anymore, but you can look at my voice stuff and you can see me on there. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Sure, thank you, Tony.
If this is coming out on Monday, this coming Friday the 14th. Saturday the 14th at Vidiot's here in Los Angeles, showing a movie that my friend Chelsea Christer directed called Bleeding Audio. It's a documentary about this band, The Matches, that we used to tour with a bunch, some label mates of ours. It's about them / kind of how fucked up the music industry kind of can be at times. And our friend Jonah Ray is going to host a Q&A, and I'm also going to be a part of the Q&A. I'm briefly in the movie. So if you want to watch me stand up there and nobody ask me any questions, I'll be there.
I have a question for you, but I'm not there, but I'm here. I saw a clip online.
Mm-hmm.
You might have posted it.
Mm-hmm.
Was it shot in your house?
Yes, but of like several houses ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your display cabinet of toys that you're in front of.
Maybe.
I mean, it looked really good.
Yeah,
I was like, either you're in a collectibles store or this is your home.
Yeah, that was my old place. I don't have as much of that stuff anymore.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Long story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that going on. And if this doesn't come out Monday, then I'll just say buy merch from bands.
I agree. Buy merch from bands. We don't disagree. We don't disagree.
I'm just giving you a
Buy
hard time.
merch from podcasts.
I agree with that too.
And you can get all my stuff. Go to AlisonRosen.com or go to my link tree. And I already mentioned my Substack and my Patreon.
Substack.
And if you want to see all of the many items that guests are recommending, things that people can't live without, go to Amazon.com/shop/AlisonRosen. It is my Amazon storefront. And you can see there's like over 100 things that come highly recommended. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show?